Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Thursday night edition of Game On here on News Central Television. My name is Babatunde Koiki. I know a lot of you are glued to your screens right now watching your favorite teams do battle in the UEFA Conference League and, of course, in the other UEFA competition as well. But before that, while that is going on, of course, the game will also be going on as well. The show will also be going on as well because it never stops, never quits. We will always be bringing you the latest sporting news from across Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. Of course, we're also streaming live on your favorite social media handle. It's right there on your screen at News Central TV. And the handle, of course, that's right there on your screen as well. Whatever one that you choose, be it Facebook, Instagram, whatever tickles your fancy, you can find us there as well. We're also coming to you on channel 422 on DSTV and also on Star Times as well. It seems a bit light in the studio tonight. Unfortunately, there is no one to save me from the clutches of Mr. Diggs himself, Wale Adigun. He's here tonight. Wale, thank you so much for coming through. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you feeling now? I thought you were a bit under the weather.
Yeah, a bit under the weather. Yeah, I think the cold got to me. The weather's been a bit cold.
Yeah, it's been a bit difficult, yeah?
Yeah, so it's great to be here, Aileen Artie, and I mean, what a day to be here, where it's just me and you, so hopefully we can build some chemistry.
I'm not happy about it, trust me. I'm not happy about it at all.
And you mentioned the European football tonight. It's for the lesser sides. It's for the less privileged sides.
I didn't say anything. You said that. You already started digging already.
That's why you find Spurs, you find Manchester United, you find Chelsea. Yeah, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. And of course, our good friend Chinasa Ibonye will also be joining us live from Los Angeles, California as well. Chinasa always joins us every Thursday as we'll be looking at all the sporting news that will be making the rounds across Nigeria and beyond. So without further ado, let's quickly start with news from Nigeria, and it has to do with basketball. And the Rivers Hoopers defeated Bauchi Nets 55-50, their second game of the Chief of Defense Staff Independence Basketball Championship at the Mo Arena in Abuja on Wednesday. It was a close game for the KingsMen, who were playing their first competitive game after the Basketball Africa League way back in May. The KingsMen held a 2-point lead for most part of the game, only placing Bauchi Nets at arm's length. The Hoopers eventually outscored their opponents 55-50 to pick up their second win of the competition. Well, for me, the fact that they won is not even the issue. The fact that they haven't played a competitive game since May. Now, that really is not good enough.
Hey, it helps you understand the state of the sport
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria right now, where there's not much action. There's not much competitive action. I think the women are the only ones seeing a bit of action. I think there's a zonal competition going on, the MBBF league going on. But for the men, it's been really, really quiet. Because how do you go from the highs of being, one of the best teams in Rwanda? Because, I mean, we remember that we're here and we didn't give them a chance. And they got to the semis.
Yeah, they got semis,
and they played some great basketball. And since then, they've not seen action,
Since May.
Since May. So that just explains to you that they have to just find something doing. And this competition itself is not even a top level.
It's an invitational tournament.
It's just an invitation. Let everybody just come in together, scream and, yeah, it's a scrimmage. Let's just have some scrimmage in here and get some games under our belt. But, I mean, their quality still showed, although there was a bit of rustiness, because I think on their day,
they're way capable of much better.
Sweeping the Bauchi Nets. But they still won, which tells you that they're still the best side in Nigeria.
Okay. Don't forget that on Thursday night, Chinasa Ibonye also joins us as well. Chinasa joining all the way from Los Angeles, California. Chinasa, always good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. You can hear this, what we're talking about in the studio right now, about how one of the finest teams on the African continent is pretty much struggling to get games. Meanwhile, over there in the United States, preseason training preseason camps have already started for the various NBA teams. Trades are already being made, and this is a well-oiled machine, one of the biggest sporting codes in the world, one of the finest, well-run, most lucrative sporting codes in the world, and it's already gearing up for what promises to be another exciting season. That's talking about the NBA.
Yeah, Tunde, how you doing? How you, Wale? Quick one. It's just what it is, you know. It's what it is, the way we run things in Nigeria. So I don't know why we keep acting like we're surprised. Wale just said it, you know, you played a competition of that level in May, and you haven't played anything again since then, and you still haven't done anything now. You know, looking at it, you have to ask yourself, like, are we really serious about other sports aside even the football we see as the pride of the country and everything? How serious are we, you know, running when it comes to being serious and, you know, the business part and everything of the game? So it's just sad, you know. Basketball, ever since we won the, you know, when the Tigers won
Afrobasket.
Afrobasket, it's been a downhill journey since then. It's just so sad, you know. We had a generation of players that we could have, you know, gone on to be like what Angola did, you know, decades ago, the way they dominated basketball in Africa, you know, winning several Afro baskets and everything. But hey, we won one, and the infighting started, and you know, so it's just sad, you know. Anytime I think about Nigerian basketball and how things have gone, I just shake my head because of what could have been. But it's just the way it is to me. So
You're shaking your head. You're shaking your head. My head is about to explode. Wale, I cannot understand how. I mean, a country as tremendously talented as Nigeria. Just take a look at the NCAA. Every year, athletes of Nigerian heritage being churned out in both the male and female codes. Looking at the NBA as well, there's almost no franchise that you look at and not find one player of Nigerian heritage. This is a sport that Nigeria could be dominating Africa. We could be winning 4, 5, 6 Afro baskets in a row.
Tunde, it's crazy. I ran into a former NFL player yesterday, and he was talking about when I told him I was Nigerian, he was so happy. He was talking about the Nigerian nightmare, Christian Okoye, who was basically the first position player to play in the NFL. So he was asking me, he was like, "Yo, you guys," because he saw me, he was like, he thought I played football. He was like, "You guys, it seems you guys are all athletic and all that. So what's happening?" And like he talked about Christian Okoye, who didn't play American football until his junior year in college, and he went on to be one of the best ever running backs to play the game, you know. So he was talking about how you guys just take to sports, you know, you're athletic, you're strong, everything. And I was just in my mind, I was just shaking my head because yeah, we know the talent is not scarce, you know. It's just the organization, the administration. Like we should be competing on, we should compete at elite levels across various sports, you know, talking about football, basketball, weightlifting, American football, you name it, we're talented, track and field, everything. You know, but Sunday, if we want to talk about the reasons why, the drawbacks and everything, why we're where we are when it comes to sports in Nigeria, you know, we'll keep talking about this for like a decade.
Yeah. So let's talk about the problems. Wale, if we want to get a proper basketball season, a proper basketball franchise going on in Nigeria right now, what is the basic requirement? What should we be doing? Maybe like just 3 pointers.
The administration has to be good.
Okay.
They have to get their acts together. That's the truth. Once administration is good, everything falls into place. The basketball franchises still remain. Everyone is still they just want to play games. Everybody just wants to compete. And I thought we're going to consolidate on the gains of the Paris Olympics, where Nigeria's Tigers showed that basketball is in good health in Nigeria, but we didn't consolidate. And a lot of people thought that the games should have been only for the women. No, it should have been a holistic consolidation for Nigerian basketball. I mean, just yesterday, James Naji was traded to the New York Knicks, you know, from Barcelona.
Alongside Carl Anthony Towns.
You know, in the KAT trade, you know, from Timberwolves. That's another Nigerian in there. There's Ziki Naji as well, Denver Nuggets. So, in fact, the trick here is that we also have Nigerians from the collegiate system who even left our shores here, not those of Nigerian heritage. We have those who left our shores here through basketball camps from various, you know,
scholarships as well.
And they are doing well. And you look at what South Sudan did right there at the Paris Olympics. They excelled in the Olympics because of good administration.
Yeah.
They handed it into the hands of someone who has played the game at the highest level and is running it perfectly. That's South Sudan, who are now the #1 team in Africa. So why can't we look at that blueprint? But it's a shame that those we put in charge of our basketball I'm not even sure they even played basketball to a decent level.
Well, some of them did.
So if they did,
Yeah, so-
if they really did, then basketball wouldn't have been in the state of comatose, not for one, not for two. I'm talking about almost 5 years, yeah.
5? It's
Now,
almost
while
like a decade now.
it's mostly administrators being selfish, not short-sightedness, not thinking about the long run, because there's nothing you would do when it comes to sports administration and sports planning that you do not start to have like a long-term plan. Especially it cuts across all sports. If you want to do better, you have to start. You have to start from the administrative level. You have to start planning. What are your plans? What do you have in store for these young kids? Because if you say let's start from the grassroots, yes, it's all good and well to talk about it, but what are you doing? Because like we talk about American the collegiate system and all that, it's way before the collegiate system. They play from high school. From high school, they play AAU. They play travel ball. Like it's an organized system, and it starts from the grassroots at every level. That's why when you see what you see at the pro level, it's like, oh, it's out of this world. But it is something that starts right from the grassroots, and it's organized at that level, and it goes up until it gets to the professional level. So we are not serious. When we're serious, we'll have long-term plans, and we'll put in administrators that are ready, that love, that have plans, and that have love for the different sports. We saw what Victor Igali has been doing by himself. Daniel Igali rather has been doing by himself in wrestling. So
we're also seeing what is going on in cricket right now. Victor
cricket,
Akpata as well is also doing pretty well.
Yeah.
You can always tell the sporting codes are doing well by the quality of leadership that they have. I can only hope that that's
Exactly.
Sunday,
Yeah.
Lol Deng is 39 years old. Lol Deng.
So it's not by grey hair.
Is the president of the South Sudan Basketball
So it's not by
Federation.
grey hair. It's not by age.
It's not
Can't you
exactly.
look at the wonderful job
39.
Masai Ujiri is doing in the NBA with the Raptors.
With the Raptors as well.
So we are capable, but it's
So is it, I
get out of the
think
way.
just to wrap this up, gentlemen, I think it's honestly the system that we operate in Nigeria does not make it particularly conducive for those who have the experience, the know-how, the talent, the connections to want to come home and actually contribute their quota. Because you also look at the like of Mike Emenalo, who for many years I advocated for should be, at least worst case scenario, should be a consultant to the Nigerian Football Federation. But where is he now? He's in Saudi Arabia.
He's consulting for Saudi Arabia football.
building the next phase, the next phase of Saudi football. We also have the likes of what's his name, Kwatamala, who just left to go and consult for Saudi Arabia's athletics as well. Not Bikwel with the, what's his name again? He won Athens Olympic Games. His name just skips my mind. But that is the state of Nigerian athletics or Nigerian sports in general. But just hoping that the administrators will do better, create a conducive environment so that the people with the know-how, the passion, experience, and the connect can come in and play their part. Leaving Nigeria behind, let's move on to Kenya. Athletics Kenya have set July 2025 as the date for the next Nairobi City Marathon after the conclusion of this year's edition. This year's marathon took place in September with Eliud Magut clinching the men's race as Cynthia Jerotich emerged victorious in the women's category. The date of the event was revealed as part of the event's calendar meant for preparations leading up to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo 2025, dubbed the Road to Tokyo 2025. The marathon will be preceded by the Kenya National Championships and the 10,000-meter trials for the World Athletics Championships. The Nairobi City Marathon has several distances, which include the 42-kilometer marathon proper, the 21-kilometer half marathon, the 10-kilometer expressway run, and the 6-kilometer fun run. Well, it's pretty safe to say that we have something similar here in Nigeria. The Lagos City Marathon is actually pretty much of international standard. It's a diamond label race, and it promises to be really, really good next time around when it comes up in 2025. Still talking athletics, the 2025 Diamond League Series will begin in Xiamen, China on April 26. Organizers said on Wednesday, in a season which it faces a stern challenge from a lucrative new U.S. format. Diamond League organizers have already raised the prize money on offer for next season, partly in response to the purchase announced by the 4-meeting Grand Slam track series backed by Olympic legend Michael Johnson. The 15-meeting Diamond League has increased its prize money to $9.24 million in 2025, while Grand Slam track says it will have a prize fund of $12.6 million. The Diamond League season culminates in a 2-day final in Zurich which will run from the 27th to the 28th of August. Chinasa, coming to you now. It's amazing what's going on in track and field right now. We're seeing rival athletics competitions coming up. Just last week, you saw the Athlos All-Women Championships take place in New York City as well. It was 6 races where there were only 6 competitors each. The winner got $60,000 as well. Now we're seeing a brand new one being backed by Michael Johnson as well. The prize money is bigger than the more established Diamond League. So something is going on in athletics. I don't know what it is, but maybe you can break this down for us. Why is it that we're seeing these rival promotions, these rival competitions wanting to establish wanting to pretty much topple the established order?
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world, because at the end of the day, it's going to favor the athletes, because that is what they want. Because for a long time we've talked about how the track and field stars, except you are the very, very top, they don't really get paid that much, because there's not a lot of the pie is not enough to go around. But right now, with all these things you have, it's just like in the UFC, in the mixed martial art world. You have the UFC, you have Bellator, you have One Championships, and in golf now the Saudis came up with the Live Tour to challenge the PGA Tour. So yeah, it's at the end of the day, I encourage all this because for me, I care about the athletes, and the athletes are the ones that are going to benefit. So the more the merrier. You just have and it makes the competition stronger, because when you just have one body, or a particular set of people running on a pressure, they might tend to they might tend to monopolize it and do whatever they please. But when you have different bodies coming out together to bring out things like this, then the competition gets better, and overall it boils down to good tidings for the athletes. So that's all I'm concerned about. It's in favor of the athletes.
Wale,
and it puts athletics back into the map where it's supposed to be. After Usain Bolt, it's been a little bit of a down, but thank God for the likes of the American the American Olympic champion and the rest of them coming up now. So yeah, we'll get more eyes, get more people into the sport, and get the athletes put more money in their pockets.
Wale, $12.4 million, if I'm reading this right, for just 4 races. That's incredible. Yeah. While the Diamond League has 15 races, and it's just 9.4 million. Where is he getting the money from? Where is Michael Johnson getting that money from?
All right, so to the best of my knowledge, there's $30 million on ground from his associate partner.
Okay.
Yeah, for this already. I remember GST doesn't even come into existence until next year, April. But they've got $30 million.
And they've already signed up some of the finest athletes in the world.
Yeah, and the first race will be held in LA. That's the host for the next Olympic Games. The second race will be also in an American city. Then you have the next 2 races, overseas. But all of this is because Michael Johnson feels that, like Chinasa said, the athletes are not getting, rewarded enough for what they are doing. And crucially, you are not seeing a lot of top athletes going head-to-head against each other. And, what Michael Johnson proposes is that, you have GST challenges, you have GST races. Races have got contracts, challenges will pay appearance fees, and everybody on a weekend, on these days, will go head-to-head against each other. And in 4 races, you can win, that's about 12 million on ground. So I think it's a good move. I think the World Athletics Council are proposing something in 2026, Ultimate Championships, but we don't know what that really entails. But crucially, television is also important. Athletics is losing a lot of television audience. And I also realized that NBC, who broadcasted the Olympic Games, did not renew their contract with the Diamond League.
Oh.
Yeah, because of the dwindling audience in the United States. And Michael Johnson has created something that looks like the Americans will fall in love with. And I heard the broadcasters are falling head over heels to... I mean, they just signed McLaughlin Lebron as one of the athletes. That's a big deal, if you've got McLaughlin Lebron as one of your face of GST. So I think that this is a lost battle that the Diamond League are fighting right now. And I would like to see how our own Toby Amusa and the rest will figure in all of this from next year.
But the good thing about it, like you and Chinasa have said, competition is good. It's good because the more the competitions, and that means the more that the athletes can earn ultimately, because that means that over these these competing bodies can actually even get better, basically for the sport and for the athletes as well. And a quick correction, I think, just to make that quick correction, the Lagos City Marathon is not a diamond label race yet, but I'm sure, it's a gold label, but I'm sure that the organizers are working very hard towards that. To tennis now, Coco Gauff survived a scare-to-beat Ukrainian qualifier Yulia Staroduseva in 3 sets and reached the China Open semi-finals on Thursday. The 2023 U.S. Open champion will face Paula Badosa after the Spaniard ended the fairy tale run of China's 595th ranked Zhang Shuai in straight sets. Gauff seeded fourth back to defeat 115th ranked Staroduseva 2-6, 6-2, 6-2 in Beijing. The 20-year-old American recently parted ways with coach Brad Gilbert as she attempts to regain the form that brought her a first Grand Slam crown last year. Gauff, who is chasing an 8th singles title, surged to a 3-0 lead in the deciding set on the way to a 3-love lead, on the way to sealing her place in the semi-finals. And finally, on this part of the show, it's time to talk American football now. It's the NFL, and it's a matchup of 2 division rivals. The Atlanta Falcons will face off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, one of the most beautiful stadiums in the world. That match will take place tonight in LA. Both the Buccaneers and the Falcons enter a pivotal NFA South matchup coming off exciting wins in Week 4. Tampa Bay improved to 3-1, 3 wins and just 1 loss after dismantling the Philadelphia Eagles behind another surgical passing performance from quarterback Baker Mayfield. And the Falcons find themselves a game behind the Bucs in the standings entering Thursday, coming off a last-second win against the division rivals, the New Orleans Saints. Chinasa, this one's for you. How does this one play out? First and foremost, if the Falcons played as well as their stadium looked, they'd win the NFL every season. No question, no question about it. But how are the Falcons shaping up this season?
Yeah, they did start too well. You know, their first game was against the Steelers, and it was a bit of struggle. But the quarterback, they signed him on the offseason, and he had an injury when he last season his season ended with an Achilles injury. So they signed him. That's Kirk Cousins. He came back, and he wasn't too mobile in the first couple of games, but he's gradually getting into his stride. You know, he's a good quarterback. I won't put him as elite as the likes of Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, but he's quite good. He's experienced. You know, he's very stable, and he's beginning to do what he was signed for. They also have a rookie sitting behind him in Michael Penix Jr., who was in the championship college NCAA championship game last season. So they are good in the quarterback zone, but their defense also, they have a strong defense, and they are playing really well right now. They have a good record, 2-2. They go up against the Bucs, and the Bucs are somewhat like the surprise of one of the surprises of the season, because they could have easily been 4-0. You know, they've started like a house on fire, winning games. Baker Mayfield is playing out of his mind. You know, seems like he's having a great time on the field. It's going to be a very interesting one to watch, because you can't really separate these sides, especially when you put it to the fact that they are division rivals. You know, the NFC South. So it's going to be a very interesting game to watch. And also, like I always said, I'll tell you about the Nigerians, or I'll tell you if they are Nigerians in the teams played. Last week I forgot to tell you about that, but yeah, this week the Atlanta Falcons, they have 2 Nigerians. You know Nigerians are a lot in Atlanta, so they have 2 Nigerians in Atlanta Falcons. They are both defensive linemen. That's David Onyemata and Ruke Ohohoro. And funny thing is that both of them were born in Nigeria, so they both left Nigeria when they were young, but they were both born in Nigeria. While for the Bucs, they have a Nigerian in Christian Izien. So yeah, there are 3 Nigerians that will be making an appearance in today's game, and we're getting there. Like I said, every week, every Thursday, I keep telling you guys about Nigeria. You know, you asked me how about the Nigerians in the NFL, and I told you that we have everything basically has at least 1 Nigerian, and so far all the Thursday night games we'll be talking about, there has been Nigerians. Unfortunately, last week there were actually, I think, 4 or 5 Nigerians, involved in that matchup between the Giants and the Cowboys. So yeah, it's a good one. It's going to be an exciting game. I'll be watching it. But unlike last week, where I told you to pick the Cowboys and the Cowboys won.
There you go. There you go. You thought I was going to forget about that. I lost money because of that. Yeah,
the Cowboys won. I told you to pick the Cowboys.
Yeah. But So for some reason, I thought you were kidding, so I picked the other guys. But hey, it is what it is. So the moral of the story is always listen to Chinasa. But also the moral of the story is that Chinasa, if you had left Nigeria probably 15 years earlier or 20 years earlier, you'd probably be an NFL linebacker by now, and you probably
Today, I'll tell you, I was with a Super Bowl champion yesterday, DeMarco Farr, who played for Los Angeles Rams. He was like he saw
he
me.
was impressed, Abi.
Like,
he was impressed. He took one look at you.
Yeah, he asked me, he was like, did you play guard, offensive lineman? I was like, no, I never played football. I was like, oh damn. Like, yeah, I said if I'd grown up here, I might have played football. But I'm talking football, so it's not bad at the end of the day.
Oh, thank you very much for that, Chinasa. Always great for when you come through on Thursday with your NFL previews. I'll be watching that game very closely. It's the Atlanta Falcons versus the Buccaneers. We'll take a short break right now. On Game On. When we return, we'll be talking about football and nothing else. Thank you so much for staying tuned. You're still watching Game On here on News Central Television. I still have Wale Adigu with me here in the studio. And of course, Chinasa Bonye joining us live all the way from Los Angeles, California. Guys, it's time to talk football now. Just do some quick housekeeping. In a rescheduled match day 3 fixture in the 2024-2025 NPFL season, Rangers International bounced back from their weekend defeat to Remo Stars to earn a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Bayelsa United at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu. Isaac Saviour's 25-yard strike in the 74th minute sealed all 3 points for the Flying Antelopes, lifting them to 7th place on the MPFL table with 7 points. Now, let's quickly take a look at the MPFL table. Hasn't really changed much from what you saw yesterday. Remo Stars still on top. 4 matches played, 4 wins, 12 points, and they're just looking really, really good. Rivers United in second place, 10 points after them. Don't forget, Rivers United are being coached by former Super Eagles manager Finidi George. Eyimba in the mix are there as well. They're in third place, 9 points. They are being coached by Yemi Olarewaju, who used to be Finidi George's assistant at Eyimba. Niger Tornadoes in the mix there as well. They're not doing too badly. 2 wins, 2 draws. They're unbeaten this season with 8 points. Katsina United are there as well, alongside Sunshine Stars. To the bottom 6 now, just below Sunshine Stars is Rangers, like I mentioned. To the bottom 6 now, Kwara United in 15th place, Aqua United in 16th place. The bottom 4 sees Bayelsa United, Heartland of Owerri, Ikorodu City, and Lobi Stars in the mix. None of these teams have won a match after 4 match days in the NPFL. Okay, let's move on very quickly to other sporting stories now. We hear that the Nigeria Football League, Premier Football League, has reached an agreement with a Chinese company to establish a presence in the Chinese market and attract investments from the Asian country, while also promoting closer ties between the leagues in both countries. A memorandum of understanding was signed on Wednesday at the corporate headquarters of the MPFL, which mandates the Hunan Galaxy Global Trade Development to approach relevant Chinese businesses and other agencies with a view to growing the league's presence in one of the world's most advanced economies. In addition, Hunan Galaxy is expected to facilitate inter-league relationships that would see the exchange of playing tours by clubs from both leagues. Now, gentlemen, I have to ask, just a few years ago, the MPFL was in a similarly wonderful partnership with La Liga. Now, I don't know how the current status of that particular partnership, but China now, I mean, it's not one of the most developed leagues in the world. What possible benefits could we get from China? Wale, let me start with you.
Yeah, I mean, starting with La Liga, I was with a few La Liga representatives last month. And I posed that question to them. You know, it's a question I pose to them almost every 3 months when we hang out. And they are in a state of stasis. They don't know what's happening, you know. Looks like that 5-year deal has elapsed and nothing really happened. The only thing that exists between Nigerian League Football and La Liga is the La Liga Promises, which is an
under 15 competition.
Yeah, basically, but nothing at the MPFL level right now. Now, with this latest development, I don't have much to say because this is all vague. You know, we don't know. I mean, Hunan Galaxy or whatever.
Hunan Galaxy Global
I have
Trade
never heard of them.
Development.
I mean, I did some digging and realized that the CEO is a Nigerian actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the CEO is Nigerian, so I can understand the Nigerian connection. I also know that our president visited China recently, met with the premier, Xi Jinping, and maybe they're trying to leverage on all of that. But the question is, how lucrative, how how big is the Chinese Super League these days? Its boom period, its peak period,
It's
long gone.
It's
So
long gone. What do we even stand to gain from this kind of partnership?
that is the question, because what are we even offering?
Well, from what we're saying, from what I can read here, it says this Hunan Galaxy Global Trade Development is also mandated to approach relevant Chinese businesses and other agencies with a view to growing the league's presence in China, and also to facilitate interleague relationships that will see the exchange of playing tours. I just want to ask, just let me finish your thought, Wale.
Yeah, because I wanted to say that in an exchange, you're supposed to bring something, and the other part is supposed to bring
something.
Yeah.
So what does China get?
Exactly.
What does the
What are
Chinese
we
Super League
giving?
get?
Because we are still, our project hasn't taken off yet.
True.
The league is still in its formative stage yet. So I don't think we're giving anything yet. And I fear to think that this is just a list of it joins the list of other things
An
that
exercise in futility.
you get that never sees the light of day. Yeah.
Chinasa, I need to ask you, what could be the possible benefits from this? Well, maybe they said approach Chinese businesses and other agencies, but why would any Chinese business want to and pretty much involve itself or invest in the MPFL? To what end? What do they start to gain? Are they going to be manufacturing jerseys? We have kit manufacturers already in Nigeria. So even the official ball is manufactured by a Nigerian company. So what could we possibly gain?
Yeah, Sunday, like Wale said, it's vague, we really don't, we're looking at all this, looking at it from different angles, and we really can't say, but if you ask me, in typical Nigerian fashion, I believe that some people will have some things to gain because at the end of the day, that is why things like this get signed when it comes to Nigerian sports in general, so it's not, like we said earlier, it's not always with the interest of growing the sports or with the interest of the athletes, that play the sports. It's not about them. It's about what a few people doing the handshakes and everything is what is all about, what they can gain. Because right now, between the three of us, we cannot tell you, we cannot say what it is, what we stand to gain, what is the benefit to Nigerian football, So it's just that, but hey, that's what we're used to.
I think the best thing to do we'll probably get one of the officials of the MPFL or this Hunan Galaxy to probably pop in on the show and probably tell us a bit more about this, because if you don't know anything about
tell you something.
Wale doesn't know anything, I don't know about it. Maybe let's just ask the people.
I checked the website,
involved.
and actually, the Hunan whatever is like a hub for MPFL news, basically. I mean, you got MPFL news in there, and it looks like it's a new website just built for that purpose. But I'm excited if they can prove me wrong. But the question is, do you have to give us the finer details? I mean, a couple of months ago, the MPFL had a deal with IMG Productions, in the UK to produce matches. The IMG produces Premier League matches in the UK, right? We haven't heard anything from that end. So that is why you can understand our outlook, our, the negative way we've received this. It's because time and again, things like this have happened. But hopefully they can prove me wrong. If we can get Chinese investors, the question is, what are we given in return?
Pertinent questions, and we'll be posing those questions to MPFL officials and also to officials of Hunan Galaxy pretty soon. Still sticking with Nigerian football, interesting news coming out today. Former Zambian Ivory Coast coach Hervé Renard has opened up about how he actually came close to accepting the role of head coach of the Nigeria Super Eagles, but ultimately decided against it. The French tactician was heavily linked with the job after former Super Eagles assistant coach Finidi George stepped down. At the time, Renard had just left his post as the head coach of the French women's national team after leading them to the Olympic Games in Paris, and was being touted as the prime candidate to take up the Nigerian job. But in a recent interview, Renard confirmed that he had indeed received an offer from the NFF, and he pondered it for quite a while, he said, but he ultimately declined. And quoting him, he said, "I almost went to Nigeria. I weighed the pros and the cons for several days, even weeks, before deciding against it. It was the best proposal I've received so far, but the others didn't suit me." Now, Wale, if you were Hervé Renard, what could possibly be your reasons for turning down a job which is regarded as probably one of the best in Africa?
Yeah, I mean, I get a feeling that the deal would have been financially beneficial to him, but he would have looked at the specifics. Do these guys come through at the end of every month? Do they have what it takes to, because he commands a huge fee, he's one of the best paid managers, on the continent. Will they be able to consistently be able
He
to
said it was a good offer. So
yeah, of course, like I said,
I don't think it was a money thing.
It can be a good offer. The question is, his advisors will have questioned him and said, we might have done, it looks like we've done our research, but these guys were owing Gernot Raw. Those guys were owing Jose Pesero. What are the chances that you won't be owed? I mean, you're coming from an environment where you have been regularly paid. So that might just be the situation here. And there was also a bit of instability with our coaching setup. He might have also looked at that as well. Because, see, you look at the caliber of players, we possess some of the best players on the continent who play for the biggest clubs. That enough is for a manager wants to come and manage
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So, but I think that it would have been much more financial in terms of, not that it wasn't juicy enough, of course it would have been, but how consistent will he have been getting his packages?
Chinasa, money aside, could he also have looked at, for example, the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying table, looked where Nigeria was, looked at the teams that they'll be facing and looking at, maybe they probably gave him a mandate to also qualify for the FIFA World Cup, probably did his calculations and said, nah, it's not possible. Could that have been one of the things that turned him down?
I don't think that would have been a reason.
Sure, I mean we're second from bottom in a 16 group that includes the likes of Lesotho, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and we're struggling to qualify. Could that have turned them off?
No, a good coach will like a challenge, at the end of the day. But I actually agree with what Wale said. It's not about Tunde, if you're being offered a job by a company or by somebody, and you will do your research. They can give you the best offer on paper. They can give you everything. Like one Nigerian philosopher said, "No be church, show working." They can show you. They can tell you all those beautiful things and sweet things. But at the end of the day, when you ask people that have been in that position, he can talk to the likes of Gernot Raw, he can talk to the likes of Pesero, he can talk even around the wardrobe. He can talk to a lot of people, and they will tell you, they will give him the real specifics of what goes down when you become when you're in the when you're doing the job and when you're in the environment. How everything works and the frustrations and all that. So yeah, we just bungled the whole Bruno Labbadia situation. That also didn't help matters. So yeah, I think any self-respecting coach that is professional, that knows what he's doing and has been working in very, very proper circumstances and environment, they would, when they do their research, they'll be like, yeah, it's not worth it, because like you said, you alluded to the fact that we are in a tight race to qualify for the World Cup. So that's already pressure. If you add the whole not paying and take it bring in lists from here or from there, people interfering with jobs and all that. Yeah, you ask yourself, is it going to be worth it? So instead of you going to taint your name or give spoil the image you've carefully created for yourself on the continent, you'll be like, yeah, it's a nice offer, it looks good, but
ultimately not for me. But you look at you look at his CV. Took Morocco to the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Took Saudi Arabia to the 2020 FIFA World Cup, where they earned that stunning win over eventual champions Argentina. Won 2 AFCONs, one with Zambia, one with Cote d'Ivoire as well.
He has an
impressive CV, but he probably looked at it and said, these people are not going to go World Cup. So I don't want that on my CV as well, because we said failed to qualify Nigeria for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Probably looked at that as well. Let's quickly tell you that the road to the African Nations Championship holding in East Africa will be mapped out next Wednesday, according to CAF. The draws for the qualifiers will be conducted in Cairo. Don't forget, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania will host the tournament from the 1st to the 28th of February 2025. For those who don't remember, the African Nations Championship is pretty much the AFCON version, but for players who are based strictly in their leagues. So you might be a Nigerian player playing in Sudan or Tunisia. You do not qualify. You must be playing in the NPFL. Unfortunately, Nigeria has failed to qualify for the CHAN for quite a few editions now.
Oh, yeah,
Being knocked out by the likes of Togo. Pretty much tells you the story of where Nigerian football is right now. Let's quickly give you updates from matches that are currently going on in the Europa League now and also in the Europa Conference League. Let's quickly give you those results. There you see. The Europa League, it's Ferencvaros losing at home to Tottenham Hotspur 2-1. Hoffenheim also beating Dynamo Kiev 2-0. Lazio beating Nice 4-1. Maccabi Tel Aviv lost 2-0 at home to FC Midtjylland. Olympiacos defeated Braga 3-0. Karabag also losing to Malmo. Real Sociedad losing at home to Anderlecht. While RFS from Latvia also playing out a 2-2 draw with Galatasaray, who are without Victor Osimhen, who is injured. The Europa League match is currently going on. Slavia Prague and Ajax played out a 1-1 draw. The stars indicate that these matches are currently ongoing. Athletic Bilbao and AZ Alkmaar are playing out a goalless draw. Besiktas losing 2-0 at home to Eintracht Frankfurt. Elfsberg beating Roma 1-0. And how about this game at the Stadio do Dragao? Manchester United were 2-0 up thanks to goals from Rasmus Højlund and, of course, Marcus Rashford. But they are now losing 3-2 to FC Porto. FC 20 and Fenerbahce playing at a 1-0 draw right now. PAOK Salonika, former club of Super Eagles captain Willem Troost Ekong, losing at home to FCB. It used to be Steaua Bucharest of Romania. And Rangers in Glasgow are losing 4-1 at home to Olympic Lyon. I'm sure the green and white half of Glasgow is particularly happy with that. Union Saint-Gilloise of Belgium also playing a goalless draw with Bodo Glimt of Norway. Victoria Pilsen and Ludogorets Razgrad also playing out a goalless draw as well. Okay, still talking international football, FIFA has agreed on an interim transfer rule aiming to help players change teams and pretty much attend the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States next June, July. The move on Thursday opens the door for players whose contracts expire on the 30th of June to sign early as free agents for one of the 32 teams who have qualified for the relaunched FIFA Club tournament. These teams include Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, and Paris Saint-Germain. They've all qualified. Potential free agents who could be pursued by Club World Cup teams include Liverpool trio of Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk. Jonathan David, the Canadian striker with Lille, is there as well. And Tottenham Hotspur captain Son Heung-min will also be out of contract next summer as well. FIFA's council has approved interim transfer market rules that give member nations the option of opening an exceptional transfer window from June the 1st to the 10th. I'm just, the way FIFA is going about trying to bend the rules, adjust the rules in order to make sure that their FIFA Club World Cup holds, I don't know what to say.
It has to be a success. It's important that the Club World Cup is a success because this is the first time in this format and they've put a lot into it. Although, I mean, just recently, I think this week, they announced the 12 cities. Broadcasters are struggling to buy into it. FIFA probably are even threatening broadcasters that, hey, you guys have to really come into this one. But I can understand why FIFA also are coming in here because there's a conundrum. Just imagine if the Club World Cup had happened this year and we had the Kylian Mbappe situation. It would have been a very, confusing. So they've tried to get ahead of it. So KDB, Mo Salah, and basically even these clubs will probably now start trying to, hey, do we wrap this up? So I can understand why this is done. But it would be nice to probably see KDB as a free agent for Real Madrid in the Club World Cup. How about that?
Interesting. Okay, moving on very quickly. FIFA's disciplinary committee will also investigate alleged breaches of rules by the Israeli Football Association. The Palestinian Football Association submitted a proposal to have Israel suspended from international football in May over the war in Gaza. The FIFA Disciplinary Committee will be mandated to initiate an investigation into the alleged offense of discrimination raised by the Palestinian Football Association, FIFA said. The PFA believes Israel's federation has committed violations of FIFA regulations and called for sanctions against the country's national teams and clubs. It's Israel pretty much violating Gaza in the cities and on the pitch as well. Tottenham Hotspur striker Dominic Solanke has been called up for the first time in 7 years to Lee Carsley's England squad. Pretty much happy for him. That's the first time in 7 years, and it's Solanke's first call up in quite a while, 7 years. He's called up for the UEFA Nations League matches between Greece and Finland as well. So congratulations to him. Well, thank you very much, Wale Adigun, for coming through tonight. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. And also, Chinasa Ibonyeth coming through all the way from Los Angeles. How's Los Angeles today, by the way? Sunny?
Sunny.
Sunny, yeah.
Of course,
okay.
it's sunny.
Thanks to the guys behind the scenes who also made this possible as well. But before we go, let's remind you of a strange spectacle that took place many years ago. In what remains one of the most peculiar and unforgettable moments in combat sports history, boxing legend Muhammad Ali stepped into the ring on June the 26th of 1976 for a cross-sport spectacle against Japanese professional wrestler Antonio Inoki. The match held in Tokyo wasn't your typical fight. It was an experimental contest that pitted two icons from different disciplines against each other. From the opening bell, the fight took a particularly bizarre turn. Inoki spent the majority of the bout on his back, kicking relentlessly at Ali's legs in an effort to neutralize the boxer's famed footwork and punching power. Ali, on the other hand, struggled to land his signature punches while avoiding Inoki's unorthodox tactics. And after 15 awkward and perplexing rounds, the fight ended in a draw, leaving fans baffled and critics questioning the purpose of the matchup in the first place. Though the bout never lived up to the hype as the fight of the century, it remains a historic and odd chapter in the world of combat sports, blurring the lines between boxing, wrestling, and entertainment, and sparking a conversation about what truly defines a fight. Well, that's all we have for you tonight. Many thanks to everyone once again. Game On returns tomorrow night. My name is Babatunde Kweki. Wish you a wonderful evening. Good night.